Have you ever known a friend that's gone through a divorce, or maybe you yourself have gone through a divorce? They're generally really nasty, aren't they? Involves a lot of crying, yelling, anger, misery. Why, though? Why? Well, nobody can hurt you like the ones you love. Nobody can hurt you like the ones you love. Nobody. That's why divorce proceedings are so damaging, because you used to be together. Therefore, they know so much about you. They know who you are. They know what you are. They know your little things. Tony Bobulinski used to work hand in hand with the Biden family. He knows all the ins. He knows all the outs. Tony Bobulinski felt abandoned by the Biden family. And so Tony Bobulinski is spilling all the tea. And it was a spicy day. Practically right off the bat, it comes out just both barrels on Hunter Biden.
Now recognize Mr. Bobulinski for his opening statement.
Should I allow Hunter to give his opening statement first?
Doesn't appear Mr. Biden showed up for his public hearing, so we'll recognize you, Mr. Bobulinski.
Okay.
He didn't. Normally when people sit in front of Congress, it doesn't matter who they are, they try to do hey, I'm just going to do the by the book thing, and they kind of speak in all this lawyer talk and just kind of try to get through the thing and get out of it. No. It was obvious right off the bat that Tony Bobulinski was there, and he wanted to walk away with some scalps today. And I do want to point out before we go further that that's James Comer, head of the Oversight Committee. And I'm glad they had this testimony today. It is beneficial for the American people to find out just how much of a criminal their president is. I'm glad all that stuff happens, so on and so forth. But it also should be noted that one of the reasons Joe Biden will not be impeached in the House is because we don't have enough members, and we don't have enough members because James Comer is one of the Republicans who voted to bounce George Santos out of Congress. So do keep that little bit, at least in the back of your mind, as we go through all the rest of this today. Now, let's go to some of the meaty stuff. Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden committed perjury, according to Tony Bobulinski.
Biden gave his transcribed interview on February 28th and lied throughout his testimony. Here's just one egregious example of Hunter's perjury. He lied to the committee on important details concerning his money demands and threats to CFC in text messages on July 30th and 31st, 2017. He leveraged his father's presence next to him in that infamous text to strong-arm CFC to paying Hunter immediately. Jim Biden also lied extensively throughout his transcribed interview on February 21st and perjured himself. An example of that, on page 100 of his transcript, Jim is asked specifically, do you recall having a meeting with Hunter Biden, Tony Bobulinski, and Joe Biden? Jim's response, absolutely not. After the committee showed him text messages confirming that I met with Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Jim Biden at the Beverly Hilton in May 2017, Jim Biden, with a former U.S. attorney lawyer sitting next to him, still denied that meeting took place. Hunter confirmed his uncle perjured himself in front of this committee.
Bidens are liars. Bidens are criminals. The entire family was in on it and has been in on it for a long time. And let's talk about this family thing for a moment. Remember, we've talked about this so many times on the show that you know it by now. Joe Biden was essentially groomed from an early age to go into politics. And immediately upon entering politics, Joe Biden began to enrich himself using his family. It's his brother's business. It's his son's business. It's this, it's that. That's how criminals always operate. That's how the American mafia operates. The mafia Don doesn't buy the local Italian pizza joint. His second cousin's brother buys the local Italian pizza joint. And that leads me to another thing, just a quick item, and then we're going to move on to more Tony Bobulinski testimony here. Republicans. I saw another Republican organization say something today about Joe being involved in Hunter's foreign business deals. Involved in Hunter's business. Republicans, please for once, get the messaging right. I'm begging you, for the first time ever, please get the messaging right. Hunter Biden doesn't have a business. Hunter doesn't have anything to sell. He's a 50-some-year-old drug and hooker addict. Hunter Biden has no value, no power, nothing to sell anybody. Hunter Biden doesn't have a business. Joe Biden has a business. It is Joe Biden's business. It wasn't Sammy the Bull Gravano's crime family. Nobody in their right mind would have referenced Sammy the Bull Gravano and his crime family. It was John Gotti's crime family, and Sammy the Bull Gravano worked for John Gotti. You know how we know that? We know that because Sammy the Bull Gravano had to pay John Gotti, not the other way around. Why do you think they were always talking about 10% for the big guy?
Mr. Bobulinski, who's the big guy? Joe Biden. Are you sure about that? Because when
Jordan, Joe Biden.
You're sure?
I'm 1,000% sure.
Because when Hunter Biden did his deposition under oath, he said, I don't know who it is, even though he was copied on an email that said H will hold 10% for the big guy. You sure it's the big guy is Joe Biden?
1,000%. And there's other text messages that back that up, that the brave whistleblowers, Shapley and Ziegler, have produced. Not from my phones, not from my BlackBerry that I took screenshots from. They took them from subpoenas directly from Apple's iCloud that back up the fact that Hunter knew the big guy was Joe Biden.
John Gotti didn't have to give 10% to Sammy the Bull Gravano. Sammy the Bull Gravano had to give 10% to John Gotti. Hunter Biden doesn't have a business. It's not Hunter Biden's business. It's not Jim Biden's business. They're employees. They're bagmen. Joe Biden has a business. Why? Joe Biden's the one with something to sell. And what does he have to sell? Let's make sure we focus on that for a moment before we get on to Tony Bobulinski destroying two of the biggest pieces of trash in Congress. Before we move on to that, let's just make sure we're clear about something. What is Joe Biden selling? No one likes to focus on that. What was Joe Biden selling? Or if they do focus on it, they'll use words like influence. He was selling influence. No. Influence is just a word. Joe Biden was selling your money. You understand that? You went to work today, or someone in your household went to work today, and the government swindled 35% of their money, took it out of your paycheck. 35% of your day was spent working for the federal government. And Joe Biden has spent his life as a senator, vice president, and I'm sure now president, figuring out how to take the money you earned today and hand it to other people so they will, in return, give him a cut back. He's not selling influence. He's selling taxpayer dollars. He's selling your dollars. That's what Joe Biden is selling. Hey, hire Hunter Biden here as vice president. I'll find a way. I'll get with Congress and we'll find a way to slip a little of that American cash your way. I win, you win, everybody wins. Just give me my 10%. Joe Biden has spent his career taking from you and giving it to foreigners to enrich himself. That's what Joe Biden has been selling. Don't ever forget that. Now sit back and enjoy watching Tony Bobulinski take a battle axe to Jamie Raskin and Dan Goldman.
We keep hearing from certain corners that our democracy is at risk and democracy is on the ballot in 24. Yet the same people preaching this mantra know better. They continue to lie directly to the American people without hesitation and remorse. Rep. Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin, both lawyers, and Mr. Goldman, a former prosecutor with the SDNY from New York, will continue to lie today in this hearing and then go straight to the media to tell more lies. Hunter Biden's defense attorney, Abby Lowell, weaponizes letters to Congress to try to smear my name.
Mr. Chairman, save his time, but he called members of this committee liars, and I just want to know whether the order and decorum requirements of House Rule 11 apply to witnesses appearing before the committee. Does it apply or does it not?
There's decorum from the members. We've asked for that. There's no language that I'm aware of pertaining to a witness.
Thank you.
So don't make sure we didn't waste any of his time on the opening statement. Mr. Bobulinski, I'm sorry for the disruption. Please continue your opening statement.
Ouch. Like I said, This thing is personal today. And I applaud Tony Bobulinski for the courage that took. And let me just tell you, as you know, we live in an evil, corrupt country now. We do. Tony Bobulinski, might want to say a prayer for that man. He's going to get a visit from the IRS or the FBI or maybe both on the exact same day. All right, and that wasn't the only entertaining thing that happened today. There was another exchange with AOC and Tony, but before we play that, I just want to remind everybody, because this is one of those little bits of information that's out there, and it's a fact, it's true, but it kind of gets lost in the ether with all the other crap we talk about on this show. AOC is an actress by trade. She's an actress and a dancer. You know that's what she is, right? So why is she in Congress? The Justice Democrats, it's a hardcore communist group of Democrats. They wanted to bounce a more moderate Democrat, and so they had actual auditions for people to come in who they could prop up to run against the moderate Democrat. AOC, the actress, showed up for an audition. They liked her look. Obviously, she's very pretty. And they thought, yeah, we could mold this person into a communist piece of trash in Congress. She won the audition, won the congressional race. Now she's in Congress. Why is AOC always making herself look dumb? It's not necessarily that she's dumb. She may be very, very dumb. She just doesn't know anything about politics at all. She's an actress. That's why you saw this today.
Is it your testimony today that you personally witnessed President Joe Biden commit a crime?
I believe the fact that he was sitting with me while I was putting together a business
Did you
deal.
witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it?
FARA.
What is the crime, sir?
You
Specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me,
statutes,
sir. Excuse me,
FARA.
sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is the
It's a category of crimes that you're then charged
You
under
have charges.
a long 100
You
list
have
of
charges.
statutes.
Sir,
You
please
want me to name the exact statute
Sir,
under RICO?
yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my time.
lawyers that
I
went to
reclaim
law
my
school.
time. I
I'll leave
reclaim
it
my
up to
time.
you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statute
reclaim my
under-
time.
Anyway, all that may have made you uncomfortable, but that's our government, and I'm right.